ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the weekly Old School Q&A. I'm your host, Mod Wolf, and with me on the sofa today, we have a full couch. We have the ever-new face, Mod Husky.
Hello.
We have Mod Ash.
Hi.
Mod Gambit.
Hello.
Mod Matt K.
Hi.
Mod West. And Mod Tide. Before we start, I'm going to hand it over to Mod Matt K, who has some things to say.
Right, okay, so we know you guys are talking about a whole bunch of different issues right now. We are going to get back to you. We are aware that you're talking about it. We're taking it on board. There's a lot of conversations happening right now. And once we've got those concluded and we've got something to talk to you about, we will do that. We're trying to do that as quickly as possible. So bear with us. We will get back to you. We know what you're talking about, and we will get that sorted.
Cool.
There we go.
Just want to start off with that because a lot of the questions were focused around some of those things, and we won't be answering those today. These people can't, we can't do that. So we want to get that out the way to begin with. On top of that, a couple of shout outs to begin with. Exclamation mark Prime is your last chance to get Prime if you do desire it. Exclamation mark Sidious for our new blog about Sidious that Mod West has worked on. That was really good. Exclamation mark new merch for, of course, the Angelscape stuff that we have going on, and exclamation mark treasure trails if you want to find out about the treasure trail stuff, which actually I'm mentioning because of a great segue that is about to begin. Mod West and Mod Tide are going to show you a couple of upcoming things. I believe Mod West is going to begin by showing you some treasure trail stuff that he's been working on. That'll be coming up in the coming weeks. And then Mod Tide will show you something that's coming out tomorrow that you guys have been waiting for. So can you guys head on over to the computer?
While they do, can we just clarify a little bit? I think there's some confusion in the chat about what we meant at the beginning there. We're referring to the big questions that go sort of straight to the top when we reach out to you guys. I think anything that's normally surrounded by a crab in the comments, for instance, those are the sort of things we're talking about.
What else did I think I was talking about?
I just wanted to clarify. It seemed like there was a little bit of confusion.
Yeah, and all these issues, they are not easily solved things that we can just make a decision and decide we're going to do that. It's a company-wide thing that we need to deal with. So the whole company's got to talk about different departments, different solutions, different ways of dealing with it, and that's why it takes time. But we are on it.
Cool. Are you guys ready? Yep. Awesome. Let's hand on over to the computer with Mod West and Mod Tide.
Hello guys. So I've got a few cosmetics here just to show off. So a lot of these you might have already seen from the blog, but a few of these are new. So one that you've already seen would be the manacles and the kilt. So, as you can see, those are looking quite nice. We've also got a few...
Zoom in.
Zoom in. Oh, all right. We've also got a few punning items. So here we have the rainbow. Nice pun that. And also the RuneScape. And I mean, if you've got any more items, I'd love to hear some. I forgot. I was also thinking of like bare feet. It's like actual, animal bare feet for another one. It'd be cool to get like an entire outfit of just puns. I can't like puns. What else we got? We got the giant boot. This was a player suggestion, and it was too funny not to do. So there you go. You got a giant boot on your head. So that was I think it was Maximus RS. He also did the designs for these amulets as well, which are quite cool. So that's the trimmed defense amulet and a trimmed power amulet.
Very nice. Cool.
And as you end up in all like treasure trail updates, we sort of end up with this very strange outfit on at the end of it. But I think this is kind of cool. Quite colourful. I love the boot. Yeah, so that's just a taste of a few of the items. I'll be working on a few more over the coming weeks as well, so be sure to follow me on Twitter, and I'll probably be posting a few there as well. Cool, so that's just the treasure trail stuff done, and I'll hand over to Mod Tide with the quality of life stuff.
Well, thank you. So in tomorrow's update, you will be getting your hands on a very, very nice... You'll be getting your hands on a very nice sandstone grinder. And the sandstone grinder is manned by our good friend Drew here. With the grinder, you will be able to deposit your sandstone by using it on the grinder. But because it's noted, you can't do that, unfortunately. But your non-noted one, you can. You'll also be able to deposit your buckets over with Drew with up to a maximum of 25,000, along with a maximum of 25,000 charges on your grinder. And you can claim your sand for 50 coins each.
Oh, you got hit by the desert heat.
Oh, that's very unfortunate. And you've bought all your buckets of sand, and we did remove the barrel of water. I'm very sorry about that.
Yeah, bit of a water source there. Also, they have just sort of taken the bone grinder from the sort of Mauritania, the Active Hunters area, and sort of made it a bit more deserty, added some sand. So yeah, the area's looking a bit more, you know, less artificial, just a bit more connected with the rest of the area. So yeah, it's quite cool. Is that?
I think that's everything.
Yep, everything for the sneak peek of the week. Cool. Thanks for seeing us. We'll head over back to the couch.
Well, there we go. I was like, oh, I guess you're hosting today, Matt.
So I guess that's the first big update from Mod Tide.
It is.
Exciting. And,
Well done.
You've got something in some Warriors update as well.
Yes, I do. Found an obscure bug where you can, if you kill a dark worm, like the worm in its dark form before you kill it, it dropped normal bones. It'll now correctly drop worm bones. I think this is if you half killed it, teleported out and come back. I don't think many people knew about it. It was just something I found on my lunch break. I was reading stuff.
Bug reports.
So yeah, you know, interesting.
Yeah. Good stuff. Lots of things, of course, coming out tomorrow. They'll be in the news post. Go ahead.
So Mod Husky's kind of still in training, which is why he's not made a whole grinder yet. He'll work on bigger things presently.
Yes. Getting on well with the training and looking forward to whatever my first project will be. I'm sure it'll be under scrutiny by the community.
I'm certainly looking forward to, personally, a treasure trail, more rewards as well. The upcoming weeks we'll be showing off more stuff each week that Mod West has been working on as well. Worth pointing that out. The grinder, of course, has been something that people have been wanting for a while as well, so it's nice to finally deliver on that tomorrow. There's quite a bit coming tomorrow, actually. It should be good.
So also earlier in the stream we touched on the Sidious blog.
Yes.
Now I recall you first pitched this at RuneFest on the big stage last year.
Sidious Blog. The Sidious wasn't put on the big. We put out a blog just before RuneFest.
Okay. Well, would you like to tell the people more about what it is you're offering in Sidious?
Yeah, so essentially it's just sort of like a remap of the main Sidious area, sort of just bringing everything a bit more central together and just making the flow of the area just a bit like the mainland, like other RuneScape cities sort of thing. Just sort of adding a bit of buffer around the area.
It looks really nice. I feel like we're forever reworking there to a perfection. It's going to be the perfect world at one point.
Well, yeah, we'll get there eventually. We just need, it's only like the second time really, because the first time was just sort of like fixing the coast.
Making it not be square.
Adding a river.
and adding the river, yeah.
So I was having a conversation, I can't remember who I was having a conversation with, but at some point this week we were having a conversation with somebody about Zaya and how we originally designed it. And part of the plan for originally designing it was let's make it like Old School is designed, like the rest of the map's designed, so the cities are all in squares, the continents are all square. So that's how it came out square to start with.
It does have a certain square thing going to it.
It does.
Exactly,
I
yeah.
was looking at Cairn Island the other day and found that, that is fitting into a square.
Yes.
It's just a chunk chopped off, and Shiloh Village is a square.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, they could have been a bit more subtle.
Yeah, indeed.
Cool, fantastic. Well, I'm going to go ahead and jump on. Oh no, I'm not actually. Before I go to the questions, it's worth pointing. I'm going to point out that Mod Bruno is on the chat, so please do at Old School RS if you have any questions. He'll be gathering those from the chat, and we'll be answering those throughout the stream as well. I'm going to move on to the first question from Alch, and that is, when adding new areas, do developers or artists intentionally add safe spots, or are they happy accidents? If they are not, how do developers decide where to place them if they are intentionally added?
Generally, we try to avoid adding safe spots now, especially if it's like mechanics where it's you don't really want them to be avoided. But if it's just sort of like your generic NPC, I tend to like think about areas of how maybe you would fight these with range. So when I was doing like the Chasm of Fire, I made sure there was like stalagmites and rocks in the way so you could do some range. But generally for bosses, we try to make that as, so there aren't any safe spots.
If one makes a room and it's not a smooth rectangle, then there will be safe spots. So if one makes a room with wiggly edges that looks like a nice cave, or that's got other obstacles in it, you're probably making safe spots. Occasionally we'll disguise one as the other. So Scorpia, for example, she's in a room that is effectively a rectangle in terms of where she can stand, but with a bit of wiggly walls and stalagmites at the corners. We make it look a little bit more natural than, say, a cellar would have done. But if you're trying to make a boss, it matters more. If you're plonking down a few more generic aggressive NPCs, it doesn't matter so much.
Mm-hmm. It truly does depend on the situation, I think. Sometimes, like you said, we do specifically add NPCs that we're like, yeah, we want them to be, have a range safe spot, if that be the case.
One of the first things we did when we recreated the well, we brought in the God Wars dungeon from the August 2007 archive of stuff that was nearly complete at the time. And we said at the time, we're giving you the version not as it first was released, but after the doors had been changed and the corner of the Saradomin room had been changed, so that the rooms were all rectangles already at launch.
Makes sense.
Does this mean we'll be removing Italy Rock from the fight caves?
Never. That was a scenario where it was probably purposely created.
I think that environment's mapped quite cleverly because even though the walls are straight edges, they're done with not just walls themselves, but they've also had like indents and scenery put in there, so it doesn't look as like, you know,
Just rectangles.
horizontals.
Yeah.
You got a lot of diagonals in there still.
Cool. Moving on to the next question from Captain Ali. Can Konar keys be added to the collection log? This would let us track how many we have found.
Well, as of tomorrow, you'll have a different way of tracking how many keys you've got, essentially, which is we're adding a counter to the brimstone chest. It'll pop up in your mez box, as well as the right-click option for the chest itself to find out exactly how many times you've opened it, which is, well, going to provide the same thing.
Yep.
So
Little update from Modmaz there.
there you go.
Solid stuff. Next question from the Adam. He has a couple of tithe farm suggestions. There's a couple here, so I'll list them out one at a time and feel free to say what your opinions on them. Could the tithe farm award 1 point per 4 fruit instead of 1 for every one past 75?
Yeah, this has come up a lot, obviously, since I'm talking about the Sidious rework. And it does seem like a lot of players don't like the possibility of potentially losing a lot of their fruit if they have to get crashed or if they have to hot worlds or something
They
like
keep
that.
them now.
Oh, well.
I think it's more of an issue that if you miss a couple too many,
Oh, right, it gets,
you get nothing.
you get nothing. All right, yeah, seems like a fair thing to do.
There's also the issue where if you need like 2 points to finish whatever you're buying, you have to go and
Do a
farm
full-
77
yeah,
until
yeah.
you get just those 2 points. And at which point you'd be as well doing the 100. I mean, it still work out as 25 points each. I think it's because it was originally looked at that you get bonus experience after the original 75, so it's doing the first requirement there, and then you get the bonus experience with the points is probably how it was done. I don't see why it couldn't be changed, just so people can get the 1 or 2 points they need extra. But
Makes
Yeah.
sense. The other two are actually about points as well, but it's mainly about. The first question is, can grape seeds be buffed to, instead of being 2 points per seed, maybe multiple per singular point?
Sounds good to me.
Cool, I like that as well.
Yeah, sounds
And then the second one is, can a new tier of fruit be added which gives double the points but half the XP?
so people that want to get just the items and don't want to go and fix it. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Reasonable.
Sound good?
Yeah,
Someone can mix up the syllables to make another name for weird fruits.
There was some PogChamps in the chat there, that made me happy.
There were a few things people said about the tithe farm, like you said, West, when you were going through the feedback from your host Sidious rework. One of them I think we both noticed was a lot of his right click.
Yeah.
And maybe that could be made a bit smoother, a bit nicer as an experience if we had some left click ops instead. So maybe we'll gather these as a bunch and look at
Convenient
updates
for
on the
mobile
tithe
users.
farm. Yeah, for sure.
Cool. Next question from Obsidian. Can the Barbarian Training and the Varrock Museum quiz be added to the mini quest tab?
Sure.
Yeah, they could. The benefit of doing it didn't seem all that high, and since the Barbarian Training already has its own log, we focused on the ones that didn't. And I think the Varrock Museum's already got some tracking for what you've done, but yeah, we can do that.
It's just nice to have it in an interface, I guess.
Mod Bruno, I don't suppose we could zoom in on the chat screen a little bit more. It's hard to read what they're actually saying. Thank you very
Smile,
much.
guys. You're on the TV in front of us. Smiley faces only in the chat. Next question from Ioneth. Can something be done about Shiloh Village's entrance? It can be quite annoying to enter every time.
Yes, I agree with that completely.
Yeah, and the zombie area every time you go in and out.
I've just done Legends Quest and that's...
Well, the three of us were talking about that, 2 days ago?
It's why I was popped in.
Oh, did you send this question?
No, this is actually from a person, but I was like, that's convenient.
I'm glad it's from a person rather than from you.
It was from a person, I can show you. It was on the Reddit. The Reddits. Do you want to talk about... We're polling that, aren't we?
Yes, that's actually, so on the Sidious poll blog that's gone up yesterday, it's top of the website now if you want to check it out, guys. We've also added a few qual suggestions at the bottom, a handful, which I think you will take care of, ideally, Wolf. But yeah, one of them is, what's the name of the NPC just outside? Muscle Rai?
Muscle Rai.
Here we go.
We're going to add a right-click op to him so that you can
We
just
vote now, yeah?
go straight.
We vote now?
Not till
Oh,
Friday.
It'll be the one, well, the poll's going live on Friday, I believe. We're going to run it from Friday to Monday.
Right.
So you vote over the weekend. Yeah, so Mossel Rye is going to have a right-click op, so you can just enter Charlotte Village straight away, which has sort of been a pet peeve of mine for a while, actually. I think until now you've had to go through about 4 boxes of dialogue or click on the cart and then through the gate and then the next gate to get in. So we're going to make that a bit more streamlined.
Yeah, we had a look at it and found that where a developer had streamlined climbing over the cart before, they had literally streamlined climbing over the cart, and now you're on the other side of the cart with the undead ones and the gate that leads to another gate, which may not be quite what players were expecting at the time.
The funny thing is that
Streamline's climbing over the cart, though.
like, you can already talk to him to go through and travel, because that was added as a previous quality of life, and it's like, yeah, you know, I think I'm just about at a right click to that.
You know, his getting into the village by talking
was
to him,
that?
I think that was from Classic.
Really? That surprises me.
Pretty sure.
Cool. I like that.
Including all the dialogue with the Buanas in it.
Next question from Zolty. They ask, can Diary Masters have a right-click claim to reclaim items? Currently, you have to go through several dialogue options.
Oh, this is what they all are.
How often
We don't want to talk to the NPCs, we just want the stuff from them.
I do wonder how often one has to do it, but yes, we can make it smoother for you.
You can just buy them really quickly in the PvP worlds, but they are, I guess.
Oh, that's true.
I don't
Spend
think it's even just a PvP world thing. Purdue's on all worlds, he's just not in such obvious places.
Oh, right, okay. Yeah.
We kept him slightly out of the way so that he wouldn't be sat in the middle of, Lumbridge Castle courtyard on every world.
Makes sense.
So he's in a turret instead.
Now, if you look at real life and the amount of automation that goes on, and you can now go shopping, you don't have to talk to anybody to go shopping, you go through the
how I like
self-service
it.
tills. Or you can do your banking, you just do it on your phone, you don't have to talk to anybody. Or you can, so many things you don't have to engage with people now just to get your stuff. It's
good.
moving in
It's
game
good.
as well, where we don't have to talk to NPCs anymore. We just don't want to talk to them. Just right click and make it happen.
At 11, at 3 in the morning, when I want a McDonald's and I am not in the mood to talk to somebody, I can press a button and go, I would like that Big Mac, and I would like that drink, and I get my food without interacting with anyone, and it's the best feeling in the world.
Apparently in London, McDonald's deliver.
What? I've heard McDelivery
This
actually.
live stream is not being sponsored by McDonald's.
I'm sure that many other places allow you to order in some cases like that.
See the advert banner, it's not for McDonald's.
Yet.
Yeah. Next question from Oliver. Thoughts on the Mauritania elite making creatures in barrows too non-aggressive? I also picked up another question that was perhaps it's an item like Saradomin's Light that you can get from the thing and is tradable as well. Oh, that's a big no in the chat.
Yeah, I'm going to say I
reckon that's a no from the,
Yeah.
I've seen one yes so far.
You just be able to go through without food, really. You just need potions.
Yeah.
It's just a different way of asking the question that's come up before, which is, can we stop monsters attacking us while we're solving the puzzle? It's just literally like, well, if you don't want that, can we just stop them attacking altogether? And I've already said no to that, so.
Cool. Glad we're all agreeing on that one. Jalzi asks, thoughts on being able to burn god pages for a burnt page, maybe at a ratio of 1 to 3 or 1 to 5, etc.
Yeah, I like that. I sort of came up with something similar a while ago.
1 to 1.
Yeah.
1 to 1 makes it worthless.
It's something to boost up the price of the lower tiers, well, like Gothics and the ones no one really cares about would be quite nice.
I feel like the question's probably been asked because if an Iron Man actually wants to use the Tome of Fire, it's really difficult to get pages without just doing Wintertodd, the drop rates and all that.
Oh, it's all they're going to spam no now. But all jokes aside, actually, let's straw poll that one. How are you feeling with the straw poll, Mod Bruno? Yeah, there we go. Helps Iron Man Dan's game.
See, I wasn't going to mention it.
They were sold until you said that.
Should we add the ability to burn god pages for
Ash.
an amount of burned pages? Yes or no?
The amount is probably quite
you
important.
wear those socks that were sent to you today?
Oh my god, I did! Hold my drink. A player, hold my drink. 2 weeks ago, when we were on stream, we were talking about our socks. Are you wearing cool socks today as well? You got hamburger socks.
I've got my hamburger socks.
A player sent me some, wolf socks, which I thought were pretty good. So I'm quite happy with that. Thank you very much.
Get a zoom in on.
He's got very flexible hips.
Look at that. Look at that.
Pretty cool stuff.
Look at that. How cool is that? Thank you very much.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Anyone else wearing any interesting clothing today?
He's wearing burgers, and I
I've
think
got my
I'm beating
burger
him.
socks. These are from a player as well. This was several years ago.
I like your shoes.
You were actually a little upset that I got some sent and you didn't, because everyone we both said send some in.
Yeah.
Sorry, mate.
Yeah. This is really has been sponsored by McDonald's.
Yeah,
as I point out.
How's that straw poll looking? Good?
I can't see my socks because they're hidden behind the camera. Thing.
Oh, they're hidden behind the helmet.
Yeah. Oh, well.
Right, well, I'll move on to the next question while we wait for the... Oh, we've got the straw poll results.
Uh-huh.
Here we go. Should we add the ability to burn God pages for an amount of burned pages? Yes, 80%, no, 20%. Good idea, might be worth looking into.
That's pretty strong support.
If we do it and then discover that they've got a burnt page and it's not the normal kind of burnt page,
Yeah.
they might be very annoyed. 1st of April's coming up, yeah?
To be fair,
That's true.
I would probably imagine there might be a chance that you can fail, just so it's not 100% one-to-one ratio, and maybe even scale it on your firemaking level. Oh, use for firemaking, there we go.
One of the other considerations that might actually do is there's a lot of God pages that are worth next to nothing. So some of the Guthix ones, nobody uses that book, or the Saradomin ones. It might actually help people feel like they got a more meaningful treasure trail reward because they'd be scaled on the burning page costs, which is actually a useful item.
Yeah,
So
it's a good suggestion. So next question? Right, let's move on. Next question from Life, and they ask, how will beginner clues... This is a good question for you, Montage. How will beginner clues be dropped? Will they be dropped by the same creatures as drop easy? Will they have different roles? Will they be dropped at the same? How's that going to work?
Interesting.
I don't think that's been decided yet, but I'm leaning towards them being more... You get more of them than easy clues, so a lot less rare than easy clues.
Okay.
And possibly add them to...
I was discussing this with Acorn. I think it's like things that don't really have any good drops, like spiders and
Rats.
I do see the interest in them being available from non-combat things, of course.
So yeah, we can do them from like
Fishing your shrimps.
fishing,
Yeah.
bird nest.
Pretty good.
Oh, we need to add beginner caskets and stuff and geodes.
Yeah, how do we do that without nests though? Because I don't think we can make them free to play.
Well, no, that's fine, but we can do geodes and...
Yeah, I suppose.
Could just have it drop on the floor instead.
Yeah, could do.
Cool stuff. That's a pretty solid answer for one that we weren't 100% on. Next question from Leo.
What would the players think we should have them drop from? That's what I would like to know. What do you guys think we should have them drop from?
Where would you like to see them dropped? Let us know.
Obor seems a good one, yeah. It seems sensible,
that's
doesn't
good.
it?
Cows, goblins, chickens, these all make sense.
Elbog.
seeing Zulrah come up, which would be people would be probably
That's a little, yeah, definitely, maybe not Zulrah. Would be a blood roll.
We could replace the tinderbox drop on Thermi.
Oh yeah. Oh my God, that would. Oh, is that better? It's a little better at least, right?
Depends whether you're picking up all the tinderboxes.
I'm looking forward to those beginner clues.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting.
Have we spoke about any of the ideas?
Al-Kharid Warriors, there you go, it's an interesting one. Yeah.
Have we spoke about any of the, I don't know if we can, but have we spoke about any of the ideas that we've had for unique new clue ideas? Would we like to talk about that, or would we like to save that for a little longer?
You're welcome to make that call.
Because let's give them one, and let's talk about the one that you spoke about the other day, because I thought it was quite good. So, like, you know, we've gotten, when we released our new tiers, we had the light puzzle, and we've gotten, you know, hand these things to Phalo the Bard. Ash came up with a pretty cool idea the other day.
Simply that an NPC wants you to come and entertain him by playing a song. So you have to go to where the MC is, might be in different places randomly, and use your jukebox to play a track.
That you must have unlocked.
Which you'd have unlocked. So that could be a very easy thing if he's asking for, you know, Sea Shanty 2, and I'm sure that would be on there if we did it. Or if it were going to be a bit more challenging, then it might be a track that unlocks somewhere less accessible or up the wilderness. It was just an idea for something that didn't require you to carry stuff around, but nevertheless required you to have earned it in some way.
That's cool, I like that. I like that a lot.
That was a pretty good one. It was pretty unique.
They only like it because I said Sea Shanty 2. If I said Sea Shanty 1, they'd hate it.
No, Sea Shanty 1, oh. Right, moving on to the next question from Leon. They ask, can player on house larders be updated to allow a take X of some sort? Currently, you have to go through lots of individual chat boxes, and it's tedious for multiple items.
Sure, why not? Be a laugh.
Is there important things you need to be taken out?
Tea? Milk? Oh no, you get full of that real milk and eggs and stuff?
Yeah, I suppose.
That's OP.
Can you take it out of the house? I don't think you can.
You can take eggs and stuff out of the house. Can you? I'm pretty sure you can.
I don't think they're specific ones.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think about weird cases, and I think there was on Caveman Only's video, he was like making scrambled eggs as an actual legit cooking method for his
Yeah.
weirding out.
And I'm like, is that a buff to...
Yeah,
That's what I'm
I'm
thinking.
wondering if there's like a motive here where players are thinking about helping out their content creator friends with stuff like this, but I think he ended up finding another way to do stuff anyway, so I can't remember.
Cool, let's go with maybe no, and I'll move on to the next question. Perp, stop flirting in the chat. The next question is, can aerial fishing's XP be looked into? The mid-level experience per hour is quite poor until you hit the level 91 fish.
Yeah. Okay.
We'd have to potentially poll it, because there is polled XP rates, which I actually think they're still a little off than what they previously were. But if people would want them to be buffed, it's certainly something we could do.
Especially if it's a piece of content which people actually enjoy in training fishing. It's very different to the conventional sort of, stand there, fish and wait for your inventory to be full. I think it's important to have that jump up at 91 still as like a, reward for getting that high. But if the players want it and it passes the poll, sure.
Should be trained well. If the players want it, sure.
Next, actually, let's answer some chat questions. Again, at Old School RS. If you have any questions for us to be answered, Mod Bruno is on the chat picking those up. I'm going to start asking a couple of those right now. First one from Chili Blitz. That's a good name. They ask, can we have a search option in the music tab?
Yeah, that would be great to have that.
Tricky. I think to do that, we'd have to be able to redraw the interface, and there's a lot of tracks on it that we might run into the same kind of limitation that stops us doing more bank slots, especially as the jukebox also keeps getting longer.
Yes, indeed, yeah.
So I like the idea, don't want to guarantee it though. Sorry.
In the meantime, if you have memorised the order of the alphabet, you will be able to quite...
Okay, burn.
What if there was like a favourites thing for tracks, so you could favourite a few tracks? I don't know if that's a feature in right now, but that could also be useful.
No, it's not currently a feature.
But I don't know if that's more viable.
That's an interesting new way of looking at it, isn't it?
It's a good way of putting C72 at the top.
Yep.
Right. Next chat question from Solid Care. They ask, will the new trees in the Farming Guild be spread out around RuneScape, replacing the old tree textures? I love the new art style, and it really fits in with OSRS really well.
Wait, you said new trees in the Farming Guild?
I think the ones without the textures were added.
Oh, right, just sort of the pine trees.
Yeah, like I say, that's a massive... I think that's going to be a massively divisive thing.
Yeah.
Some people will love them,
Yeah.
some people won't.
Yeah.
And can't imagine that getting close to passing a poll.
Potentially if we could toggle it, but we don't have that sort of ability. To toggle.
Well, they are multis, aren't
Toggling
they?
every
I
tree.
mean, we could...
No, multi-locking every tree definitely wouldn't be a good idea, because there'd be a lot.
Oh no, that's a whole lot of lag. Oh no. Our multi-system would not handle that, you're right. Cool. The next question from Drawsome. That's Drawsome. When will Unrestricted Worlds last until? It's really helpful to test things out.
It said 21st of March on the blog when we put them out there.
Cool. There we go, 21st of March. Log into those Unrestricted Worlds if you haven't already. They're quite fun. Try out content you might not have usually been able to.
I was away at the time, but does anyone remember how that date got chosen?
Yes.
Cool.
Did we ask the decision maker? I was meant to bring that on stream today.
Oh, that thing. Well, we did. Somebody wrote in the blog that we until the 21st of March, and I don't think we've changed the plan.
No.
Cool. Awesome. Another chat question. Dirt Jars on the Sun asks, can Thermi please get a jar of smoke? Thermi is literally the only Slayer boss without a jar for the player-owned house.
That would look really cool.
You'll have to make the POH environment if you don't mind.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Just to get on the list.
Cool. I think you just accepted some work.
Do you remember what its
job.
environment looks like?
Yeah, it's not too complex, right? It's just
No, it's definitely not too complex.
It's great.
Maybe,
just throw in some
It's
smoke.
not complex at all.
maybe instead of putting the jar in it, you undo the jar and just pour the smoke in so it becomes all smoky. And you get
That's a very easy model. Let's just tint the glass to be like smoky coloured. And we go, there we go.
Well, we could use the models from the blast mine. No, sulfur mine. So just like a cloud.
Yeah.
Sort of
Yeah.
vampire
Those are
cloud.
vampires, yes. I didn't even repaint them for the sulfur mine. They were the perfect colour already as vampires.
That is strange.
Cool. I'm gonna
Everyone
move on.
knows what vampires are made of now.
Sulfur.
I'm going to move on to the script questions. Once again, scripted as in the ones that we got beforehand, not like we wrote them. I realised as I said it, I was like, oh god.
So the first one's about McDonald's again.
Yeah, it's like, and the next one's about the deliciousness of the brand new Grand Mac with bacon. No.
Oh, I like those.
Have you tried it?
I
Yes.
bought one for my daughter yesterday. I know.
It's like, dude, it's like 1,400 calories. It's ridiculous. It's over 99% of your daily guidance intake of saturated fat.
Yeah.
In a burger.
I haven't tried one of them.
I was saying that just to prove we weren't being sponsored by them, because that's not a good thing.
My
to
normal McDonald's. I think we all ought to go down around and tell everybody what our normal McDonald's meal is. Mine starts with 4 cheeseburgers, some chips, and a black coffee. That's my normal McDonald's meal.
I'm going to move
What's
on to the
yours?
questions that we got from Reddit. Mozzarella dippers, large Big Mac meal, Oasis.
See, everybody wants to ask this question. Come on, what's your Big Mac meal?
No, we should move on. I'm back hosting for the first time in ages. I don't want them to complain. Please.
I'll
Don't
refrain.
complain.
Okay. It's going to be on YouTube now. The top comment's going to be, oh, you're always talking about McDonald's at Mod Wolf. Oh. The next question, the reminder was, I'm done with the chat questions for now. Please do at Old School RS for any more questions for Mod Bruno to find. Next question from Legacy. They ask, could we look into improving Partner Slayer? Lots of potential for new players, and it's a nice way to grind tedious tasks with friends.
Before we do that, I would like to get the engine feature that lets us have the partnership persist over logouts. Now, as it currently stands, they don't persist over logout. And that's a little annoying, but if the partnership was integral to your meta, I think that would be really annoying. So I'd like to get that sorted first. The good thing is that the engine feature we want for it is one of the ones that we'd also need for Group Iron Man. So I'm optimistic we'll get it in due course. By the way, there's a question in the chat that there was a player asking about a peak option on the Lizard Shaman canyons. If you talk about the canyons, I think you are, check the soldiers at the top. It's not exactly a peak option as such, because peeking into the soldier wouldn't be quite what you're looking for. But I'm pretty sure there's a soldier up there who'll tell you how many people are down the canyon. Hope that's a sum out.
Cool. I just want to ask the chat real quick. There was a surprising amount of no's for that Slayer partner thing. I'm kind of interested why.
Oh, I'm surprised. It's something that's been highly demanded
before,
before.
It's come up a lot, though. I do remember that when we first made Slayer partners, players were really concerned they'd be overpowered and that we'd be giving too many benefits for having a partner.
Makes sense.
And they didn't want Slayer to get much faster either at the time.
Rekonos PNG, I'll be your friend. Sorry, mate, don't worry. You've got one friend now. There we go. You said you had no friends.
Oh.
It would definitely incentivize people to train an alt account just to do those.
To do it with them.
Yeah,
right.
just to do
That
those
makes sense.
rubbish tasks.
Yeah.
Or, the ones they don't like to do.
Which is why some of the restrictions were built into it.
Yeah.
Anywho, at the time we said, all right, we'll make a really, really conservative version, and we did. It's got no features. So, yes, we can build on it. We're okay if you don't want us to, but being able to make it persist over logout probably would help anyway.
Yeah.
Dude.
I guess, yeah, I didn't even think about that. That's a fair point. Just the fine balance between will it buff Slayer, I guess, which it could with alt accounts.
That's why it's got those restrictions it's got.
I guess, oh gosh, that really limits how you can improve it as well, other than the persistent of logout.
I guess the option is if you assigned your partner before the task, you maybe assign an increased amount that ticks down for both of you or something like that. So you're,
But then if you do that and you get 500 Dagonoths and you just do it on one account, again, that's a similar buff.
Yeah. I guess you'd have to. It would be weird. I'm sure we could find a system around it.
It would need to be thought about for sure. It would need some thought into it. But cool. Next question. There's another one from Leon, actually, that I missed out. But he mentioned that we recently automated some processes. And he mentioned that Gothic's balance is similar to 207's, how they previously were. Can we also automate those? I'm surprised. I raised this one because I wanted to say, if you guys have anything that want those kind of changes, we prefer to do them in a bundle. And if we're aware of them, like this one's been raised, we can pull them all together. So if you do have any of those things that you think should be automated slower than doing them manually.
Plank make springs to mind.
Yes, plank make is a commonly requested one.
It's on the list of future polls even.
It is. I almost ended up taking that one, but I didn't feel very confident in my coding capability for that, I'm not going to lie.
Oh, fair enough.
I think I did the bellow thing, which was automated. But
The bellow thing?
Yeah, where you...
Oh, those bellows.
Yeah.
Yes, sorry.
Then yeah. I wasn't
I was
feeling
thinking
very...
about something else.
Did we do the tan leather spell? I can't remember because I think that would be.
I don't think we did as well, but that would be a similar. That one's a bit more difficult because you click individually for 5. You don't even click on anything. That one's just a spam click.
It's also a bit weird because it's a very expensive spell, and the crafting guild is literally just probably going to be faster anyway, no matter how much you automate it. But yeah,
Enchant Jewelry was an interesting trick.
I'm glad that we did that one. That was a really good update.
Yeah.
Right, next question from Jord. They ask, can the blowpipe have its ammo changed without emptying it first?
Well, we were talking about this recently, weren't we?
How convenient.
Yes, mightily convenient. So when we were going over, I think, question marks in chat. So the changes being proposed here is currently you have to remove your ammo from your blowpipe and then put a different type in if you want to switch. The recommendation here is you would simply use the new ammo that you want loaded into your blowpipe, even if it's already full, and it would just swap them for you.
We could even have it so that if you're wielding the blowpipe, theoretically, we could potentially have it so that when you try to equip the darts and you've got blowpipe equipped, it could maybe swap. But that one's a bit more tricky. But essentially, it's so that if you've got a full inventory at the moment, you can't swap ammo without dropping things, right?
It's more tricky, but we could do it.
Is there a reason to swap ammo in the middle of a fight or something?
You're doing the 360 and the 2 180s pre-Jad, and then you get to the 360s and you want to use dragon darts instead of like adamant, which are the cheaper darts, because you want to do more DPS to finish Jad quicker without having to pray to God that you have the safe spot that means I can stay and chill for 20 minutes and, get rid of the Jad shakes I've got going on.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
So it could also have an impact on some of the PVM that goes on out there. How about PvP? Would it have an impact on that?
There's been a difference to changing from dragon arrows to rune arrows. It just makes it a bit more streamlined.
Well, blowpipe's not really used in PvP, is it? As far as I'm aware. So I don't think
It's slower. We nerfed it.
don't think that'd be an issue. Seeing lots of no's in the chat, though, actually.
I am as well.
Maybe it's being perceived as sort of a slight buff in some way. It's more of like a sort of nice to have than a buff, I think. But
If they're not interested in it, it's no skin off our nose.
yeah, I mean, just won't do it. We'll do something else.
Maybe they're looking at the Inferno example and saying, I know some people take dragon darts for the higher waves in Inferno. Maybe they're thinking that would be slightly easier. It's I don't know if that's their concern.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing that will make a difference, I think.
Cool. Right. There seems to be a general consensus of a no to that one. That's totally fine. Next question from Bio. They ask, can the Airpatol agility course receive a buff after Monkey Madness 2? They mention that rooftops are pretty much dominant because they're both profitable and the best experience in the game, which actually raises the question, maybe give some love to other agility courses in general if they're not doing anything, really. Thoughts? Opinions?
Yeah, I want to agree with the chat. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. What's the chat saying? Yes.
A mod of the people.
It is one of the coolest agility courses in game because you do it as a monkey. I think that's
and you do
why people enjoy it so much,
It's also made long after the other ones and had, far better graphics budget than the initial ones.
Okay, this is probably, it's either going to be really good or really horrible. Probably really horrible, to be fair. Where in Grace will give an XP buff on agility courses.
Oh.
So it make them useful.
It's already got the energy
Gives a
buff.
rebalance.
It's already...
It's too good already.
Grace was already extremely
Yeah, I
useful.
love it.
I did see one idea on Reddit recently about sort of agility contracts where you get told to go find an NPC and it's like they'll be in like the middle of an assault course.
I was
or on top of a rooftop.
I was so confused the other day because somebody pointed out that farming contracts is essentially what Artisan nearly was, and people keep asking for every other skill now, mining, herblore, agility, to have these contracts, and it's like. We offered you Artisan, which is the exact same thing.
Vote for Artisan, yeah.
I think the difference is that it doesn't sort of force you down a way of training your skills. Because if we had Artisan, the most efficient way to train would be to just do Artisan for all of your gathering skills.
Somebody just said no, it's not the same, but that was exactly what a farming contract is exactly what Artisan was going to end up being, but it would be a variety of skills. And I just caught me off guard the other day thinking that people are asking for a lot more variety of skills to do this.
That's sort of where it came from, because I was taking Artisan and sort of turning it into more of a D&D, and then I took the part out that had farming good contracts in, and it seemed like a good idea for the guild.
I think it's the fact that it was similar to Dungeoneering, maybe, where people are like, this is cool content, but they
Didn't want it as a skill.
Yeah, and similarly with this, I think it's like, this is cool content, this contract stuff, gives variety of gameplay and gives good reward, but maybe they don't want to grind it to 99.
Yeah,
I understand
I think that's what it is.
That makes sense.
And yet Slayer exists.
Yeah, and then but with Slayer's loved. It's
Gives
confusing.
you things.
How about hard agility courses? So for each of the agility courses, don't have
An extension
that aren't used,
added.
you have an extension to it, which
Yeah,
takes you up and
They-
maybe not quite as. You've got the potential to get more XP if you get lucky, but more damage as well if you fall and
I like that.
sort of stuff, something along
I
those
believe they
lines.
added that to RuneScape 3. So
They
they had
added
like
Barbarian and Gnome, I believe.
they
Yeah.
extended-
They had some sick animations for that. That was actually pretty cool. That was a pretty sick update.
To be fair, talk about agility. Let's fix the animations on the rooftop agility.
Oh, I'd love to do that.
It's not just rooftop, actually. If you consider the gnome one, there's an obstacle net, and you go in front of it and go, and you're on the other side, and the gnome tells you,
You start
that you can do it
dancing.
better.
You start dancing to Thriller, and then you stop.
Is that a thriller dance?
It's
No. I believe it. Okay.
because it's kind of the
That's how
same.
parkour works, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I would
The
like.
broomstick pole vault.
yeah, I know. That's
I think we'd have to
crazy.
keep that in because that's like classic.
I'd just turn it into a broomstick
Yeah.
and just actually make the animation be flying on a broomstick
Maybe
over.
give you a hat as you go.
You see, I
over.
think my suggestion for the big ones, because it was when we did it, the way we had to do it was use existing animations. I think, because I think Dan was doing it, wasn't he? the original
Well,
of it?
Dan and I did half of them each, and neither of us is an artist. Although he did manage to make quite a few of the early costume things and the trident. I don't honestly know how he did it. He tinkered with the model editing tool.
A lot of polys is how he did it. A whole lot of polys.
Yeah, but I couldn't have done it with any number of polys. He actually managed to learn to 3D model, and I was quite impressed. Other than the piece of, I think, Prospector kit he was working on at the time, where you gave him the best feedback I've ever heard. The female version of the outfit doesn't look properly feminine because women have 2 boobs, not one big one. I think that's the best thing I've ever heard anyone told.
Oh, God.
Yeah, I remember that.
Maybe he's just never seen a woman.
Let's not go there. Right, let's move on. Yeah.
Actually,
I didn't ask.
on the topic of alternative agility training, the discussion around Song of the Elves rewards and extras has brought up some cool ideas. Obviously, there was the agility contract style thing where you would deliver things, like you mentioned. I think that was a separate thing. But no, from this feedback, we've had ideas like a course which changes each time you're sort of going around it on rotation. Like the pathing would change, so you're not necessarily doing the same kind of lap each time you go around.
Like Brimhaven agility course. But
Like that, yes, but different.
Without the tickets.
Yeah. I don't think players necessarily want a recreation of Brimhaven, but something that's not necessarily as monotonous as a rooftop. And another one I saw, I don't know how feasible it would be, especially sort of with the point and click nature of our game, but the idea is essentially a sort of tag minigame whereby you're competing against other players and you have to tag them, and then they're it, and your XP or whatever reward you get is based on how long it takes them to tag someone else. It's a very sort of loose concept, but quite interesting, I thought.
Kind of cool. The main problem is people will game it and just cheat.
Yeah, it'd be difficult to make sort of cheat-proof, but as a concept, it's quite cool.
It was like more of a mini game with a timer. And then
Or in the odds, like the Odd Skull thing in Clan Wars, one of the more obscure modes we have out there is the mode where the longer your team is holding the Odd Skull, the more points the team gets. And we could do a variant of it that involves somebody trying to get rid of the, I don't know, the thing that's been passed to them as they were touched by the other player, whatever the concept is.
Well, I guess
Plague.
if you think about how you train agility in real life, it's about exercise. So potential gym circuits.
you could just spam the run on the spot emote.
Yeah, spam the run on the spot emote. Yeah, so maybe not. So gym circuits where you've got sprinting, you've got balance beams, you've got weights to lift. That sort of thing might be a cool thing to do. It tells you what to go to next. You have a certain amount of time to do it, and that would just.
You could even use
Like
the drill
that would be
demon.
quite cool.
The drill demon environment, because that
Yeah.
sort of has that sort of style set up to it as like a combat training camp.
You know, we've also got the sort of Olympic stadium that was made for Speedy Gnome random event that was never launched.
Oh, right.
It was developed as a random event in like early 07, I think, and it wasn't launched because when I was told merge that into the release build, I said, "How is it random, please?" And the developer turned out not to have thought of that, so it was cut. And he was a little bit salty too. Maybe I shouldn't have asked that question. Anyway, we've still got the graphics for it, and I think the sandals you'd have got as a reward item from Sebastian No, the fastest gnome in the world who cheats. And also the music track.
That
Athlete's
sounds
Foot.
very political.
That is.
All of a
That
sudden.
is.
What, a gnome?
Sebastian Coe.
Oh,
It's a reference.
Yeah.
was it?
Yeah.
I
I'd
never knew that.
I'd imagine so, yeah.
I wondered where the name came from. I thought it was just short for gnome. Well, that
Let's change his name. Yeah.
So, I actually don't think that Trident's the highest poly thing anymore, by the way.
No, I think he's got depolyed.
Might be the smoke battle staff.
Maybe the smoke battle staff. We have an option on the potato that gives us the highest poly stuff in the game.
It's not been updated for a while.
There's about, I think, out of the 12 or so items on there that are visible on the player, I think like 12, that's way too many. But I think like a good 5 of them are made by Alfie, I think. Like the shield is one of them.
Oh yeah, I have, yeah.
And the boots, the steadfasts were on there as well.
Yep.
They're not steadfast, they're primordials. I'm so sorry, do not
thinking
clip
about
that. They're primordials. Oh my god, they're going to rinse me for that. Right, next question.
Oh, it's been done before.
Yeah, they're completely different content. They're not the same, honest. The next question comes from Lefty, and they ask, thoughts on adding the reclaim system for instances to the Kraken and the KBD?
Given that where the KBD's exit is, it's arguably safer in there.
Yeah.
Would make sense for the Kraken at least, though.
You probably wouldn't have it for KBD.
It would have a cost as well, of course.
Quite a rip-off one, I think, for the Kraken.
Yeah, it would.
Yeah.
Especially, the thing about most of the places that have them is there's no alternative than to use the instance. Like Vorkath, you don't have an alternative of doing it in a non-instanced area. The Kraken you do. So we can be more harsh with the fee.
Someone does have a point. Who dies at Kraken?
Yeah, you have to really try.
Players will achieve anything in the game.
It's true.
Can they solo to Theatre of Blood? Yes. Can they die to the Kraken? Yes, but probably not the same person.
Meet Kraken Deathletics, my Kraken-only death. Locked. I know.
That'd be special.
After recently completing my... okay. The next question comes from from Treble, and they ask, what are the team's thoughts on rearranging items like the Twisted Bow, Scythe, and the Rapier to slightly more fitting level requirements? Currently, the requirements don't truly fit their power level.
All right, let's buff them to 99.
Yep.
I assume they mean going up, yeah?
Yes.
Yeah.
Probably.
I kind of agree with this one to an extent.
What are the requirements for them at the
75,
moment?
I believe?
75 for each?
For all of them?
You want to go to...
It does feel a bit low.
But, you know, the jump from an armadillo crossbow to a twisted bow is 5 levels in requirements, yet the damage differential is, like, quite substantial.
Should we try a straw poll where they've got options of 80, 85, 90?
Yeah, let's do that. What do you think? Is that okay? We'll pop a straw poll in there. Should the requirements for the twisted bow, the rapier, and the, what was the other one, the scythe, be up to, and we'll go tier 80, tier 85, and tier 90. I don't think they're tier 95. We're not that insane. They're not that strong.
And it could distinguish based on whether you got the thing from the raid or whether you got it from the farming guild. No? Okay.
Right. And I'll go on the next question while we wait for the straw poll to be popped up, and this one comes from Derp. They say, did you ever watch that movie? It's one of the
Yes,
three-
I did, yes.
It's one of the 3 cornettos.
No.
I'll show it to you. From Derp.
Movie about 3 cornettos.
No, it was called the Cornetto Trilogy.
So what's the question?
Yes, the next question from Derp is, can Temple Tracking be looked into having the potential improvements from RuneScape 2? Allowing the characters to level up and gain abilities, including cosmetic rewards and stuff.
How does this
that are-
help Swampletics?
So is it Hot Fuzz that you're thinking of?
That's the one,
But
yeah.
it's Yarp, not Derp, isn't
Yeah.
it?
Oh,
You're like,
yeah,
what-
all right, no.
What frequency are you on?
It is Yarp, right.
I'll carry on, Dirk.
Well, there you go.
The answer.
Can Temple Tracking be looked into being changed to the changes that they had in RS2, which it cleaned it up and gave the characters a bit more personality. I think they could level up as well. I think it was Chris Long's content.
It was.
Thoughts?
Is there anyone in particular who's doing a lot of temple trekking who would be bored by
I don't know.
uninteresting characters?
There was a lot more people doing temple
Listen,
trekking after that
there
was gone.
Listen, there was slim pickings of questions this week. Okay? It was.
Level line.
Right, maybe
their
it's-
bowstrings and silver to train.
You don't really play that, you just sort of skip
Yeah.
fastest way.
Is that a no? Is that pandering to one person particularly, do you think, more so than anything?
I feel like the question was
Possibly.
asked for that reason.
I think so too.
Possibly.
Right, let's look at the straw poll results. So, oh Jesus.
Oh,
Should the requirements for the Twisted Bow, the Grazi Rapier and the Cypher Vita be changed? No at 7%, yes to 80 at 15%, yes to 85 at 25%, and 53% of you think that it should be buffed to tier 90. I'm not going to lie, I think that's a bit of a stretch, tier 90, but
It's interesting because that certainly
Yeah.
gives us lots of scope to fill in the gaps between 70 and 80 or 70 and 90 for future content,
It does.
which excites me an awful lot.
That's the reason
Also-
there's 75 in the first place.
Yeah.
There aren't going to be many players with those items that are below 90 anyway.
that's true.
I mean,
But in terms of, like, they're strong weapons, but they're not tier 90 weapons.
I don't think. I mean, Tebow's like
Maybe the bow,
incredibly
but
good.
the other two don't.
But T-Bow is still niche. It's like, if you attack anything that isn't a mage creature,
Hmm.
it is not, it's barely equivalent to the tier 70.
Sure.
Looks like it might actually pass a poll if we offered to raise it somewhat, even if even though there weren't 75% of them going for
Okay.
level 90.
To be fair, when I say niche, let me rephrase that. I'm saying if you're killing, oh yeah, to be fair, God, we really messed up with that Bandos at one point, didn't we? But no, people do armed crossbow with Bandos. Did you see that method, the new method to kill Bandos with the armed crossbow? Wait,
I have not seen it.
that was really good. But no,
There's definitely people who've done achievements in Inferno with like bare minimum, I think Wooks and Adwan were just like start Inferno at level 70 when they can equip the T-Bow, and they've got like the lowest combat Infernal
Yeah.
capes. That would definitely mean that those accounts would be iconic because you probably wouldn't be able to do it the same. It would be interesting. I'm legit surprised most people want 90 because as soon as polls have had an item suggested that says, and this item is above tier 75, it feels like it just seems really difficult to pass just because people don't want to see that number go up. So.
There's a lot of people who are concerned that by putting a high level requirement on the existing item, it would somehow cause more power creep. I don't think that's the case because the item would not get more powerful. It would just affect who can use it.
yeah.
Maybe what they're thinking about is it then does allow more powerful weapons to be added in. Maybe not more powerful than this weapon, but more powerful than what's normally used because there's an obvious gap there now, like as I just mentioned. If it goes up to 90, suddenly we've got almost the go-ahead to go, right, let's fill up 75, 80, 85,
But then,
because there's an obvious gap there.
but then the thing is, that gap would still have previously been filled, but it would have been tier 75, and it would have the same problem where we just have this. Frankly, I'd argue there's a spread of tier there, because I wouldn't say the rapier is as strong as the bow, for example.
Right.
And, already I would say there's a bit of a spread there, but they're all concentrated to 75, almost because it does feel as though players almost wouldn't want it to be higher, because it just doesn't seem old school to have something that's tier 95, right?
I guess the other way of looking at it as well is there a reason why we wouldn't want people with 75 range to use a T-Bow? Is the other way of looking at that, which I don't think there is. I mean, it probably more accurately reflects the power level, but yeah, I don't know.
I think the thing to take from it for sure, and that's straw poll, and to see everybody's response to that, as well as what we've just spoke about, is that it's definitely got us thinking, and it's something that we can look into in the future.
Certainly a discussion point
yeah.
to have with the guys, yeah, certainly.
Absolutely. Right, I'm going to move on from that question. That was a good question. To Ed, who asks, is it true that the longer a GE offer is active, the more weight it has to be completed compared to newer offers? How does this work? Do you want to explain it?
Wouldn't know, it's inside the engine.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm relatively certain that it prioritizes the highest cost offer first.
That would make sense.
Yes. And then if you have multiple offers of 1 GP, if for whatever reason nobody else is buying it for anything more than that, because again it prioritizes the highest cost,
Then it will fill.
So then it will fill the first offer that was on 1 GP. That doesn't seem to reset on game update from what I've seen, because we can check the order of that technically. We have the ability to see who is the next person to get the 1 GP Elysian Shield if we wanted to. And if somebody was silly enough to put it in for 1 GP and nobody else is selling it for more than that, or buying it for more than that. But yes, I believe it is order of highest offer, and then in order of the next highest offer. And if some people have 10k and some people have 1 GP, again that 10k will be prioritized over this. And if there's 3 people with 10k, who put the 10k offer in first, and so on and so forth.
Yeah, well, it does track where the offers were put into it, so it seems an obvious thing to order.
You'd think.
Cool.
I mean, Mod Atlas made the thing all those years ago, and maybe around to explain if asked.
Yeah. Indeed.
Jagex Atlas, I believe.
Absolutely.
Yes, everybody simultaneously directed there.
No, not all at once. But yes,
Yeah, one of you each minute for the next 3 days.
it was more giving him a little shout out,
Being
but
trying to
then
be obliging.
next question from Merrick. They ask, can the humidify spell extinguish On's flames wall attack from a distance like
I would
water?
like to do that.
Cool. Next question from Hugo. They ask, can another dark beast spawn please be added to the current catacombs? Another person also asked, to a similar vein, can more abyssal demons be added to the abyssal plane? The reasoning is, with Konar now assigning in specific areas, the abyssal plane actually has very few abyssal demons, and the current catacombs only has 2 dark beasts.
I recall Kieran saying he wanted to make the other stuff in the abyssal plane be non-aggressive, so it wouldn't interrupt you while you were trying for that.
Yes.
If we're going in there to do that, I'm sure we could buff the demons while we're about it.
As for the Dark Beast, I believe there's only 2 because of the room.
Size.
It's quite difficult to fit them in.
Players are pretty sure they wouldn't mind the crowding.
Yeah, potentially. Also, I do remember there was concerns about the law reasons why there's Dark Beasts in the catacombs, which we might be addressing in the future.
Something dark altar. Isn't that our usual go-to?
Oh, yeah. I guess
It's
good.
dark, right? Oh.
Yeah, it's just, yeah.
It does happen every now and then that you do kill both of them and you are waiting for the respawn. And I've had that happen myself on the task, which I guess is why
At
the
least
question's
one
being
more
asked.
might help.
Yeah, well, while our previous stance was if you want there to be a place, if you want to go to a place with more of them, go to the other place with more of them. Now Konar's a thing, I'm open to changing that stance.
I agree.
In the feedback for Song of the Elves, to go back to that again, I don't mind saying this because it's very rough at this stage. It's one of the suggestions we've had that we're considering. It's not by any means confirmed or guaranteed or anything like that. It's very much in consideration stage. Is a Slayer dungeon that you would access through Prif. And I know Modeb was talking about potentially having dark beasts in there and removing them from the catacombs because it would be somewhat more fitting. Perhaps the elves found the ones sort of outside the Temple of Light and sort of moved them there for training purposes or whatever, something like that. It would be a bit better tied into the lore than having them in the catacombs. So that is something we are considering.
Cool stuff. I'm going to ask a couple more chat questions. I only have 3 minutes left, so if you do have any final last minute questions, please do at Old School RS if you want those answered. First one from OSRS. Oh God, how do I say that? After rain. Can you possibly change the colour of saplings' plant pots? At the moment, they're all the same. Actually, this is quite a good one. I think you've tweeted things about this before.
I tweeted that a few months ago, just after the Kebos release. I put up some images of some potential changes to the pot itself, just so you can differentiate between different saplings. But I sort of stopped working on it because it was quite mixed. I think people are quite precious about how saplings look already.
It's incredible how messy it quickly starts to look when you have every single sapling look different in an inventory.
Potentially.
But yeah, if you have any suggestions on how specifically, I think the person specifically mentioned, why don't you change the full colour of the pot? So they said the magic sapling would be teal, for example.
The pot changes colour because you've put a different colour sapling in it.
Yeah.
That's what I avoided doing. What I have done is just sort of put like a splodge of paint essentially on the front. Like I think for all the fruit ones,
sense,
the fruit ones it was sort of like an apple with different colours, and then for the tree ones it was the log of different colours.
Cool.
So yeah.
That works, yeah.
Cool stuff. The next question from a Proco. I had to stop myself from saying that one. Why do some dungeons require light sources and others don't?
Depends on the developer, I suppose.
Yeah. Some are lighter than others, I guess.
It depends when
I mean, yes, but no.
So Mod John A was making the first dark dungeon under Lumbridge back in like 05-ish, and created an entire darkness system, which could be rolled out to more dungeons, although taking an existing one and applying that to it would have not been very popular and really quite mean to people who were in it on launch. So he did it to that dungeon and a lot of the Dorgesh Khan kind of vicinity, but there was never any pressing reason to say Edgeville should have this suddenly, especially as a lot of those dungeons had been built with actual torches built in the walls with flames coming out the top.
There's your answer, torches.
Yeah.
Torches.
Although it was fitted to one of the dark areas under Gutanoth, I sort of intervened on that one and asked them not to apply it to people who were in there when the launch came out. And I think the compromise that was struck was that people would still be in a dark cave but not be damaged by the bugs in it. Because if you went in the dark Gutanoth cave before the update and we launched killer darkness with bugs that kill you, that might be considered unusually mean.
So save it for Dead Man mode then.
Well, there was already a bug where if you got to a certain bit of the Lumbridge Swamp Caves, the north end, and died there, you didn't stop being killed by the bugs. So you kind of stood at your respawn point, dying over and over and over and over again, with no way of stopping it or stopping yourself dying or doing anything other than just dying a lot. It looked awesome.
Right, on that note, it is 6 o'clock. I'm going to finally just plug a couple of things before we disappear. !Prime. It is the last chance for Prime if you want some free goodies. So please do that if you wish. !Sidious will give you our new blog for the Sidious rework, which Mod West has very kindly written up a lovely blog for. If you weren't here at the beginning, Matt Kay had a conversation about some important questions that you guys have been answering, as well as also our preview for a couple of treasure trail items and tomorrow's sand grinder update with Drew and his sandstorm machine.
Why do we call him Drew?
Drew Sandstorm. His machine is called Sandstorm.
Yeah, why do we call him Drew?
Okay.
That's not how it goes.
There you go. We're going to copyright it now. I didn't want to do it.
Chat will tell us how it goes.
There you go. That's how it's actually meant to go, but I didn't want to. Go.
Can we get the lyrics in chat, please?
Because Drew.
Darude. Oh, Darude.
Drew.
I met him once, you know.
Really?
Yeah, it was at the second TwitchCon where he just turned up at the pub one day.
No way.
He looked exactly like one of the RuneScape players I was with as well. It's bizarre, identical. It was
Right, well, I can't wait for this VOD now to be muted because of that. I'm playing, don't worry. That's everything then. I'm going to wish you all a lovely, lovely rest of your week. Thanks so much for everybody on the couch and Mod Bruno for doing the chat, of course. Our lovely producer, Mod John. Thanks so much, mate. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.